How do you see them managing this big payroll into the future? Obviously, Tatum and Brown can keep those guys around for a long time and try to build out different iterations of this team around them, and I'd have to imagine that's what they're trying to do here with the two Supermaxes. But you sign that Holiday extension, that adds a little bit more to the books long term. White, that adds just a little bit more, and then you still have Porzingis here at 30 for 2 more years. So you mentioned the Suns.
Yeah.
They were, $400 million this year?
Mm-hmm.
If the Celtics do a Hauser extension, which I know they have some interest in, you're talking like $500 million in 2026 for them. So maybe if you're a champion, you eat that. But
I mean, maybe that's why Wick is thinking of selling right now at this point, because he's worried about that tax bill coming up. But to me, my thing is, like, if you're a real contender, you got to pay it.
Yeah.
I just don't. The revenue that you're going to get from going to the playoffs, winning the championship, everything, it should help offset those costs, in theory. I understand it's an exorbitant amount of money you're talking about down the line, but as long as these guys are healthy, I think you continue to ride it out for as long as possible. It's so hard to build up to this point, make all the trades they did, and fit the roster, salary cap-wise, worrying about the first and second apron. While you're below it, you got to shoot your shot for as long as you can. Eventually, maybe could they move one of those guys, not Tatum, not Brown. I really think it'd be hard for them to move Drew, especially as he would be getting older. But I still think he's a great player. Derek, conceivably, there's plausibility there. KP, in theory. But again, I don't think there's an appetite for that ideally.
Yeah, and what we've seen this summer, because I was interested to see how teams would handle that. The teams that were in tough positions money-wise just basically let their guys go. There were some minor dumps, but there weren't any major, star-level contracts moving just because teams need to get off their guys. So it looks like teams are just waiting and seeing on that front. And then maybe in a year, I don't know, does Minnesota move Towns at that point as things get expensive? That's what I'm interested to see in the coming years.
That's an ownership question as well, too.
Yeah,
because with A-Rod and whatnot,
Phoenix stood the line. So we haven't seen any major players move yet, in my mind, since the second apron went into effect.
I think yet is the key word, Bobby.
It's going to happen eventually, you would think.
Down the line, just, we'll see one.
Yeah, want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor here. Go to the Game Time app, download that today, our official ticket marketplace. Use the code CLNS to get $20 off your first purchase over there. Of course, terms apply. You got WNBA going on right now, MLB, ton of stuff going on, concerts and events. You got the Sphere here out in Vegas. Have you seen it yet?
I've seen it from afar. It's on my bucket to-do list. My girlfriend was out here for half the trip. We went out. She wanted to see the Bellagio fountains, so we did that. Took her to Ghost Bar. If you guys don't know, it's in the Palms. And I'm like, oh, yeah, we're going to see the view and everything. And they closed the patio. We still saw it, but to go out there, it's a nice treat if you can do that out here for sure. So some two Vegas attractions from it.
I'll have to wait. U2 I would have done, but I don't know about Dead and Company. That's
before your time.
Before my time.
Yeah, I would say so.
Word to Bill Walton on that one. But I mentioned Hauser.
Mm-hmm.
He's extension eligible right now. He's an interesting extension candidate. You're going to do your Holidays and Whites and Tatums, of course, there in the starting lineup. But they seem to have interest in extending Hauser as well. Sure. And you mentioned, you want to keep your guys and just have them under contract and figure out what to do later. It seems like they want to extend that all the way down to Hauser, not to minimize his impact. He played in the finals and played well.
Yeah.
So I understand that. 10 million-ish seems to be, the number there.
Maybe that's what one side wants. I'm sure the other side wants a little bit more than
right.
that.
So could this happen? And what do you think it would end up being money-wise in the end if a deal does get done?
I would say the Celtics would want to do something along the lines of Peyton Pritchard. I don't think that's going to end up being realistic.
Like 6, yeah.
How much was 6?
6,
Oh, it was more than that.
Yeah.
No, never mind. I thought Pritchard was at $8 million for a sec.
Yeah.
So excuse me on that. But I would say Hauser, definitely 10 plus, I would think. But honestly, if I'm a guy like him, anytime you're trying to do an extension with a team, you're going to want a minimum, if you're a role guy, more in the mid-level or close to it. So you got to go a little bit more, maybe closer to 13 or higher. I think in an ideal world, he hits 15, and I feel like he would sign that, tomorrow if he could. But we've got a ways to go.
Hey, Bowie Manning here. If you made it this far, you probably enjoyed this video, so subscribe, turn on notifications, and check out our social media platforms at Celtics CLNS.